Hello, YouTube. This is Ewan Spence and ESC Insight calling. It's a few more song reviews. Just keep it under your hat. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to another edited highlights clip from our Jukebox Jury Song Review podcast from www.escinsight.com. I'm Ewan Spence. For the next few reviews, I'm going to be joined by AJ Clay and Alice Beverden Palmer to go through some more of the Eurovision songs. In full, find our podcast, edited highlights and clips of Just the Country, here on YouTube. Find out more, stay on our YouTube channel, head to escinsight.com, subscribe to the podcast, all the usual link, like, love, share, subscribe stuff that you get on a YouTube video goes here. But now over to myself, AJ and Alice, as we review the Master of Hats. It's Gustaph from Belgium singing Because of You. It would be remiss of me to not point out that Gustaph likes his hats. Wouldn't you say, AJ?
Oh, he does. Yes, he is a style icon. He is perhaps not, from what I gather from the fandom when the national final was on, not the act people expected to win, but the act we deserve, because he is excellent. He was very much the sort of surprise song that crept up on me. Now I've been listening back to all the songs, and the first thing I thought was, has he been listening to every 90s dance banger? Because I'm getting Kim Sims, I'm getting a bit of Jocelyn Brown, Crystal Waters. There's even a woo yeah, the kind of woo yeah that all songs seem to have back then. It's just really good.
To me, it sounds like he's ingested the entire soundtrack from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert and distilled it into 3 glorious minutes.
For me, it's possibly a test of my age, because reading up on it and people saying that it's not popular, I'm like, what are you talking about? This is pure joy. This is voguing. This is big house piano chords. What's not to love? And apparently, if you're 20 years old, lots, and it doesn't translate. But I really hope that it makes a splash on the night, because I just think it's really well put together. It's all about queer culture, and he said himself it's about kind of chosen family, and I think that's a very Eurovision message.
Music shows can narrow in on certain demographics. You can have films that are, oh no, this is definitely for the teen audience, this is for a family audience. Eurovision has to cover every single spot, and I do love the idea, Alice, that you completely connect with this because of your age, and that's what you were listening to. But it connects in a different way to a different part of the audience.
One of the things I love about Eurovision, which is that I started watching it when I was a small child, and I think it's brilliant that you get exposed to stuff that wouldn't have been aimed at you, or that you wouldn't have even known to seek out. And it's always been this amazing advent calendar of windows on the musical cultures of different countries, as well as different eras and different genres. So yeah, hopefully it will connect across the generations, because actually, from what I hear, Eurovision skews a lot younger in terms of TV audience than people might think. So I don't know what that'll mean for Belgium's chances. But as you say, I think it's brilliant that there is such a wide audience.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, just to touch on the kind of talking about chosen family and things like that, I did watch an interview elsewhere with Gustaph, and he was very, very good. I think I kind of warmed to him because I got to know him a bit more and why he was celebrating his identity. And we were talking about the voguing and things that comes across in the music video. You don't see much of Gustaph. You see a lot of the drag queens and the gay guys voguing, the women of colour backing singers all doing their thing. And it's just really nice that he's kind of almost giving them the stage. And if that's reflected in the staging, I will be very happy indeed.
I think one of the advantages he's going to have is he's been at the contest before. He was one of Senek's backing singers. He already kind of knows the family he's found. He now gets to see the other branch of the family tree for the 2023 branch. I'm pushing this metaphor too far, maybe. But he he already knows how much he's going to be welcomed.
Having been to Eurovision, having been lucky enough to have a peek into the delegation bubble in Kyiv in 2017, it's a very intense experience, as you say, and it's long days for 2 whole weeks, and it's lovely to see when acts kind of vibe with each other and support each other. It's my favourite thing about the green room, you know, like when I've been in the arena and you kind of peep into the green room and you see who's dancing to what, who's kind of celebrating with who when they get the points. So yeah, hopefully he'll be able to just take that in his stride, because he's not a first timer.
I think he's going to have an absolutely amazing time with the other acts as well, because one of the things that people had noted was that it almost seemed like it was becoming the kind of year of the twink. I think there's going to be some excellent partying in Liverpool. I think he's got, whatever happens, if he doesn't qualify, he's going to have the time of his life.
I think he already is. Have you seen that Instagram feed? Just absolutely everywhere.
No. Oh.
Fabulous. But in all of this, we do have the song. And the song itself, as you said, it's accessible, it's pop. I'm not quite sure how well it's going to be remembered when it comes to the voting. That would be the only question mark about all of this. Gustaph is wonderful. The song is bright and boppy, but does it have enough to get, for want of a better word, claws into your brain and go, right, you're going to vote for this now, aren't you? And that, I suppose, is the balance point for me of, I'm not sure where this can actually go. I think there's going to be enough love to get him at the semi-finals. Yeah, for sure. But the grand final, I'm not so sure. So it's a maybe for me on Belgium.
It's a hit for me. I mean, but then, I'm kind of the queer millennial target audience, probably.
Well done. Welcome to your demographic. Stay there.
Yeah.
For me, it is a hit, but I think you've mentioned a very good point, Ewan, which is that there's music and then there's Eurovision music, and they're very different things. So a radio hit and a Eurovision points gatherer need to do very different things, but for me personally, it is 100% a hit.
Belgium's entry to Eurovision in 2023, their Gustaph, Because of You, the singer and the song. As always, your comments can be left below at YouTube. You can find out more information, discussion, analysis and commentary back at our website, escinsight.com. You can search for our podcast with more song reviews, interviews, articles, news and details on all your favourite podcast app service directories or Spotify. And back here in the Jukebox Jury playlist, the YouTube channel, very, very soon. Ta-ra for now. You've been listening to the highlights of Jukebox Jury as we preview the Eurovision Song Contest 2023. Find out more and listen to our podcast, www.escinsight.com.